Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the February 28th meeting of the Radnor Shade Tree Commission. Has everybody got a chance to review the January minutes? Okay. All in favor of approval of the minutes? Aye. Okay. Minutes are approved. Okay. Getting right into the agenda. New business, 941 Wooten Road. Please identify yourself for us, if you would, and tell us a little bit about your project and how it relates to tree protection, tree removals.
Good evening, Dave Fiorello from Omni, here representing the applicant. The applicant is doing some work. He is currently renovating the existing house. He had sought a grading permit back in 2015 for minor addition, converting of an enclosed patio and a walkway out front. Work has been progressing on the house. The intent now is to come back for improvements. The applicant would like to construct a detached garage, and in the area behind the house wants to construct a patio area with some minor driveway widening. So what we have before you tonight is a plan showing those improvements. The existing site plan shows the existing house, shows the walkway that had been replaced before. What is being proposed now is to construct a terrace retaining wall in the backyard. The area between the wall would then be a patio would be constructed there. A detached garage is proposed at the end of the driveway, and some walkway improvements along the front. As a result of the driveway construction, there is a 20-inch ash tree that's shown here to be removed. And then in the back, there were remnants of an existing timber wall that were in pretty bad shape. The applicant wants to replace that and then to extend the wall along the back of the house. So in doing that, we have a twin cherry tree in the backyard at the end of the one retaining wall, and a twin maple up in the front left of the corner of the house to the point where we're going to extend the retaining wall. So it is proposed to remove those trees and...
Excuse me.
Yes.
Members, Dave, not to put you on the spot, but I'm not sure if you're familiar with what happened today out at the site.
I had received a phone call about 2 or 3 hours ago.
Okay.
Apparently unknown to me, I wasn't aware of it, but apparently the owner was doing some work out there. I
Correct.
don't know the extent of the work, John.
So there was
It's a wholesale, as hard as you can go job right now. He's
Okay.
put in the retaining wall, that's there already. He has dug ditches around all the trees. There's no tree protection fencing. There's no silt protection. There's no hay. He removed 8 trees from the front of the house that were listed as being protected, that you have a diagram here that shows shade tree protection. It's a disaster.
Yeah, so
I was made aware of that a couple hours ago. I haven't been out to the site.
Yeah.
I am working on the assumption that no work had been done.
Yep.
But if we get 2 to 3 inches of rain on Friday, there's so much mud and piled up on that site, it's going to be in the road. It's going to be a problem.
I
So
can
we have-
understand your concern.
So what we're not going to be able to obviously approve this.
Yep.
And,
I understand that.
you know, this is a serious situation.
And
I
again,
apologize. I'm sad
yeah.
that you don't know about it.
And
You know,
I'm-
that
I'm
they would let you
upset-
come here like this.
I'm upset that I don't know about it
Yeah.
because I was
Yeah.
coming here on the
So I think
pretense that
what
nothing
we
was
should do is
happening.
just save you the embarrassment of even going through it, because everything you're going to suggest to save trees or remove trees,
Is
your
not gonna
client has
work,
totally
right.
undermined your whole position. In
Yes.
other words, you're talking about 3 trees, there's already 8 trees taken down. And there's basically, you know, the neighbors here are disastrously affected by all the stuff that's been done already. So I think you need to go back to
Yeah.
him, and we will be asking you to come, obviously, not you, but the owner and his representative, and to come back here. I imagine there's been a stop work order.
There has been a cease and desist. And Dave, we understand it's not a reflection on you. You're the
Yeah.
PO on the job.
We've
You're not
talked
there.
many times. We know you didn't have anything to do with that.
So what I would like to have done, Dave, is can you get me a list of what was removed, sizes, reasoning why,
Okay.
the contractor's name. If you can get that over to me, we're going to set up a site meeting, look at it, and then we're going to talk about a renewal plan.
Sounds like a very good plan, John, and I apologize for not being aware. I
No,
think
no
I was
reflection on you,
blindsided
Dave. No
here.
reflection at all on you.
And I appreciate it, and I will report back
Okay,
and let them know.
all right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Hope the rest of your night goes better.
So do I. Thank you very much.
Right. Okay, not a big agenda. SEPTA NHSL Stadium Station. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Teron Booker.
Teron?
I'm sorry. Yes, Teron Booker,
Okay.
the manager of civil engineering for SEPTA.
Okay,
I'm here today to present before you the stadium improvements project that we have planned. I'm not sure. I think you guys have a better. We brought a half-size plan in front of you, the full-size plan for what's going on. So the overall scope of this project, we're basically, this is an ADA accessibility project. So we're looking to take our existing platforms and make them ADA accessible. So on both sides of the station, we're looking to put in high-level platforms with a ramp structure that goes from Ivan Avenue, and also a stairwell from Ivan Avenue. That's really the nature of this project. In order to do that, we're putting in retaining walls on both sides of the station. This to allow for the ADA accessible ramp to be put in, and we're putting in a shelter on both sides of the station. So we're here before you to get your,
are the trees being removed?
no. Yeah, so
This
we
is
had,
topsoil? Okay. Are there trees in the construction area?
as far as existing trees,
Yes.
no.
Okay, so there's nothing really for us to look at on these plans, right?
Just the infrastructure.
Just where the stockpile's going, the infrastructure. There's no trees on the site?
No, nothing.
Villanova has
Yeah.
a couple trees.
Yeah, we butt up against, we butt up against Villanova's property on that one side. So all the trees you see on the outbound side, which is closest
Right.
to the new garage,
Right.
are Villanova's.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, this is one of the ones where they really shouldn't have had to come to us. If there's no trees to be impacted, it doesn't matter how much, but at this point, we haven't changed the rules regarding the soil.
Right.
Okay. All right. And none of the soil's gonna go
Thank you.
off-site?
Yes,
I mean, it's gonna go, it's not
correct.
gonna
Yeah,
go
and because of our
over to
soil management
Villanova
policy,
side.
everything's going to a clean fill facility.
Okay. All right, well, sorry you had to come out.
No, no problem.
Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. I can think I safely say we all voted yes on that, right? Okay. Okay. Nothing else on the agenda for new construction or anything? Under new business, the chair put on a item on the agenda, ad hoc meeting to align 218 goals with the request to select a date. Given the sunshine laws, I suggest we target March 26th and later. This, I can see some obstacles to us doing this. One is an ad hoc meeting Well, to align on 2018 goals, I don't know why we need a separate meeting to align on our goals when we have our normal meetings to do that. And
Well,
that-
we could build it into a normal meeting, I guess, is what you're saying, right?
Well, to me, first of all, we would need to have, to agree upon today, a date where we could get a quorum there, which would take a lot of time. We could be aligning on goals while we do that. I don't know where we're out of alignment on our goals. I mean, we have our subcommittees formed. We have the areas where oh, and by the way, Trish, one of the other areas that should probably be on old business all the time is our master street plan, because that's an open standing committee. So that should probably appear on old business, repetitively.
Yeah.
So we know we're working on that. We know what our role is as far as the, I haven't gotten any information from the chair as to where we're out of alignment on goals. So for me, right now, to schedule another meeting and try to get a quorum of people here when I don't even clearly see the purpose, I think this is something I'm not going to, that we should just table to our next meeting.
I think what we should do is just put something on the agenda in March.
Yeah.
That we'll start the discussion here.
Yeah, sure.
I think that we'll all be here,
Right.
probably.
Right, yeah. And if we need another meeting to do that, which I'm not sure why we could go from there.
Right, and then if we have a 10-minute meeting in March,
Yeah,
we have plenty of time.
right. Okay? All right. So that's tabled. All right, now on the Radnor, proposed Radnor ordinance, okay, those of you that were here and those of you that were not, we had received a proposed memo, bamboo ordinance that was written, I forget by the name of the person, somebody in the township, and it was sent to us last year to decide whether we wanted to forward that as it was to the Board of Commissioners for approval regarding control of bamboo. And we formed a subcommittee on that, and we decided to make a change to the ordinance. It wasn't a big change, but it was a big change in terms of what the ordinance was, but not small in terms of the text involved. And what we decided to do was to recommend a total prohibition of bamboo. The previous ordinance had a very complicated, convoluted process where you could continue to replant bamboo, but under like 20 different restrictions. And the decision was that it wasn't really worth it to save the planting of bamboo, and it would be impossible to enforce that ordinance as it was written. So we substituted phrasing to make the planting of new bamboo illegal in Radnor Township, and that is now with our solicitor. So Steve has sent it to our solicitor to make sure that it would be okay legally, and that's where it is right now. Any questions on that? So
So Jack, any action being taken on existing bamboo in the ordinance?
yes, there are rules about existing bamboo in the ordinance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that changing as a result of the?
We had no bamboo ordinance.
Okay.
Okay, so a lot of these bamboo ordinances are brand new because it's
Okay.
become such a problem recently. So it's a pretty strict. Trish, you found the proposed ordinance, right? You found it for a while. You were having, okay. Can you send what you sent to the solicitor out to us so we can all be up to date on this?
What Steve sent to the solicitor?
Yeah. Yeah, so what they sent was the redlined, the original proposed ordinance, redlined, and then our insertion, right? So I think it's going to be important as this goes forward that everybody here is familiar. As a matter of fact, that proposed ordinance, I think we only got that in hard copy. So nobody that was, I can't even duplicate it myself for you guys.
And Jack,
Yeah.
for existing bamboo, what is our position on that?
Well, that's why I'm having that. Rather than do that off the top of my head, I do have that here, but for me to pull that out now.
Okay.
So Tricia's going to do is she's going to send us the complete new proposed ordinance, okay? And that will have in there, obviously, what the plan is for the existing bamboo. But basically, how far it has to be away from other people's property, how far away it has to be from the streets or the township property, what the remedies are if it encroaches on neighbor's property or township property, and the fact that the cost would be, the burden of cost would be on the person growing it, that the township could go in and actually take that out if they don't do it, and then we would charge them for the removal.
Okay, so they could keep it, they just got to confine it to a certain...
Right,
Okay.
yeah. Okay? Yes?
What if it's on township property? Is there anything in the ordinance about that, or? Or is it
I
just
don't-
private
At this
property?
point, we
Yeah.
haven't had any reports of it being on township property, have we?
We do along the trail, we do.
Along the trail?
That's right.
Well, yeah, the ordinance would apply to the township, too.
Right.
Yeah, sure. It's a township ordinance, so generally, unless there's something written in to exclude the township would be covered, would be, be applicable to them. Okay, any other questions on that? Proposed tree species for shade tree ordinance. Now, I think what we had approved Matt, your list. What were we looking at?
And so that list went to the solicitor,
Okay,
and after the solicitor approves that, it would go to the board.
right.
And one thing that he's weighing is whether we could update that every year, instead of rewriting the ordinance, the whole shade tree ordinance, instead of making an amendment to that, whether we could he'll just write something in this that says, once approved by the Board of Commissioners, we can amend this list yearly, which makes sense.
Makes sense. Yeah, no problem with that, yeah.
And then that cuts down on the red tape.
Right. Okay,
And the checklist is now going out to anyone who applies for grading permit. The new checklist. The updated.
good. There's one thing that was not put on the agenda that has been on the old business, the Philippone and Connor La Masson tract. And in January, I sent a letter to Steve. For those of you not familiar, that's a tract of trees that is between Philippone Park, Beau Connor Park, and La Masson Apartments and Gym. And it's a area which has been frequently identified and documented as being highly threatened trees because of the invasive vines there. And I had sent a letter in January to Steve and Bob about what the plans, whether there were any plans to remediate those vines there. We've been asking, we've had the scouts out there, we've had community people out there volunteering to remove those vines. We've been discussing this, it's been to Parks. Parks has tried to get that into the budget to remedy that situation. I'd say, for those, again, who are not new to the commission, 50% of the trees in that area, and that, again, this is an open woods area right in the middle of two of our most prominent parks in the township. 50% of the trees are down already. I would say of the 50% remaining, 60% of them are badly damaged by the vines. So for a year now, we've been trying to get, and most of it is owned by the township. And until the township can remedy their part of the situation, it's hard for us to go to La Masson or the other apartment complex there and ask them to do anything about it. So we're trying to get the township to remedy that situation. Now, I got an email from Mark Dominic right after I sent that letter saying that, a heads up that the township staff was out there in the winter and had really spent days out there trying to clear vines off the trees. Were you able to take a look at that at all, John? Oh, you weren't? Okay, I'll send you that email. Okay, so I was going to ask Steve about that tonight. So I just wanted to inquire, just have the record show that I'm inquiring as to whether I'm going to get, I still would like a response from the township as to if they have any further plans.
I knew Mark was going to implement a plan to go out and cut vines, he did not specify.
Yeah, he said he had 4 or 5 guys out there for 3 days taking the vines off, and that they thought they made tremendous inroads in terms of, and again, I'm looking long-term, perhaps turning this area into a grove, a formal grove, and, putting out some signature species trees out there. A lot of these trees you can get for free from various sources where they're trying to protect, the genealogy of these signature trees.
What was the date they were out there?
Excuse me?
The date they were out there?
I'm not sure. He didn't give me the exact date.
In December?
No, it was January, I'm pretty sure. He said there was snow on the ground when they did that.
And Jack, this property is owned by the township?
Most of it. Most of it. It's enclosed by Philippone, Beau Connor, and La Masson apartments, and there's another apartment building there too that's enclosed some of it, but there's a stream separating that. So I would say 80% of it. Are you familiar with those parts?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I would say 80% of it is owned by the township.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty little area.
I've been there. It is a big problem with the vines.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I have a lot of pictures. I've been to parks about it, and so we're just trying to keep that on the agenda till we get, remedy to that, maybe get that converted to something where we can permanently preserve it and keep it nice and have it be an asset. All the trees would be gone in another year or so without that, without those vines being, okay?
Is the objective to try and maybe kill the vines at some point? Or are we just going to continue and have to maintain pulling them off the trees? Or is there
I would, yeah,
a way
well,
to?
yeah,
is
if
that
you cut the
on the-
vines off and you put some other kind of ground cover, if you turned it
Like
into a
weed
grove.
killer I'm talking
it-
about, though.
Huh?
Weed killer. We don't do that?
Well,
or-
that's controversial right now because
Okay.
the township has adopted a policy that there's a lot of different kinds of herbicides that they will not use. They will only use these natural herbicides,
Okay.
and they're afraid of that, that getting into the stream and that being near playgrounds and all that. So
Okay,
I think the best way is really to just to deroot a lot of that. They have machines that actually can deroot those vines. So to go out there and go between the trees and deroot the vines.
that
And
would
then
be
put
great.
some other kind of ground cover in there and turn it into a grove
Yeah,
where
it'd be lovely.
it's maintained somewhat, and then the vines cannot really regrow because there's
Yeah.
constant attention to that
Yeah.
area.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks for the,
So, yeah. Okay? So it's ongoing. If you have any
Yeah.
thoughts about it, give me a call if you want, or an email, and we can talk about it. I'd heard something about Jake Abel had formed some kind of, John, did you hear about this? That Jake Abel, the new commissioner that was previously on our commission, had formed a voluntary group to address that area. Did you hear anything about that?
I did hear some rumors about it, I didn't hear.
Yeah, so I'll contact him and see so that would be good, because I know he was interested in it, and that's his area, that's his ward.
And I think he did contact 6 ward residents.
Yes, yeah. So things are moving in the right direction on that, absolutely, yeah. Okay?
Great.
All right, hazardous tree report, everybody get a chance to look at that?
I just have one question for our arborist, is like an educational thing. I see some of these are being removed because they're lifting up driveways and so forth. Are you able to like just maybe cut those particular roots that are offensive out without jeopardizing the whole tree having to come down, or?
In some cases we can, you have to be careful certain species and the diameter of the root you're actually
Right, okay.
Which is also considered a infrastructure hazard, human hazard, target, whatever it might be, it's still.
You talking about Barclayton here?
Yeah. Okay, thanks.
But they are, we asked for them to plant 6 trees, they have 3.
That 36 Meadowwood Road, that just came out, right? That tree's come out, hasn't it? Because I was out there, I think it was out there today and saw 2 trees just recently cut on that street. 2 rear, oh, rear, these are rear yard. Now this is, I'm going to have to get this one looked at because this isn't this one. And the one on Meadowwood, they're going to do replacements there?
That is correct.
Okay. All right. Any other questions on the hazardous tree report? All in favor? Okay. All right. Any public comment? Hi.
Hi, I'm Laura Luker from the Radnor Conservancy, and I just really wanted to present to you, I sent this to Eileen, so she has it on a hard file, but I wanted to give you some information of some programs that we are going to be doing this spring. A handful of them are related to tree issues and events, and some of them are in the parks as well. But just so you have an understanding of what's going on and you can spread the word or be involved if you'd like, so I'd like to give those to you. And I just also wanted to, I know, I'm sorry, I came a tad bit late, but I just wanted to ask a couple questions of things that to follow up from last month's meeting. I don't know if you spoke about where this stands, but your proactive email to arborists regarding the tree ordinance. I did see that you have a list of contractors, and I just took a peek at that, and I'd be happy to add some more. We know of a lot of other ones that we work with as well. So I can add to that, and I don't know if the letter has been produced or anything like that, but just glad to see that that's going to be put out. Also, a proactive email to the residents about the tree ordinance, and we sent Eileen some information that we have on our website in regards to anybody who is not knowledgeable about the ordinance. We have it on our website, and we also have a message. So hopefully that can be something that can be used.
Yeah, and once we get the recommended tree list through
Right.
the board, it'll
Then
go
it
up
can
on the website.
kind of kick off and do all
right.
that. Great. I have actually did you guys talk about already trees removed without approval earlier in this meeting?
In
before I
what
came?
context? In general or in?
Just specifically about a tree that was removed in the township. I know you're familiar with this.
All right, talking about 116 Pine Tree.
Yeah.
The letter has not been written by Mr. Burschini yet to the contractor.
Okay.
So once that has happened, Burschini will then have Patricia put it on.
Okay. All right. Great. Wanted just to find out where that is. That was a tree that was quite large, heritage tree that was removed without approval. And the last thing I wanted to find out was, do you have any understanding of where you are with you called it the charter tree street tree plan proposal. And I was just wondering how that's going and anything that you know about that.
Well, I mean, we've talked about it only in terms of what we'd like to do. And so what we're going to do is start with a tree census in a particular area, like, say, the business district in Wayne. And we'll start doing a tree census. Now, the mechanics of that are difficult to say. We know exactly what that will be because we don't. So that's, I think in the March meeting, we'll probably
Start to
start to make that more public. It's really hard to start a tree survey before the trees have leaves.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, we have to figure out the right technology
Right.
to use, and John's been talking to the board about that. And
Are you familiar with, last summer, we had an intern that actually did the tree survey in town, in the Wayne Business Association.
I did not know about that.
Yeah, so we have all that information.
So how was that done?
Well, Alex, I forget exactly how he did it. I think he did it on Google Earth, and we have all that information. I know the township
Well,
has that, and I know Wayne Business Association does.
I think
So we'd be
this
happy
board
to
would like to have
share that. Yeah. And then I think the only last thing it was 62 trees in the Wayne Street survey that our intern did, and it was on Google Earth.
One thing we're going to try to do is do it in a way that we can actually determine whether a tree is healthy.
Right.
Especially with the ash problem.
Right.
So it's going to take, someone going right to that tree who knows a bit about the health of that
Risk,
that tree. And so but as a basis, your information would be great.
Yeah.
For everybody here that's new, that's what I was talking about earlier that should have been on the agenda for all business, which is the Radnor Master Tree Plan. We have a subcommittee of Eileen and Matt who have developed a charter for that, and basically are in charge of going forward with that huge task, which is to do a master street plan for Radnor Township. So, and we were talking about a couple different, first of all, you'd have to do a census of starting with certain areas and, spreading out to the whole. And we were talking about, what was the original software you were talking about using?
There's something called iTree.
iTree. And what do you have, John?
Urban Forest Matrix, which is, an intense inventory program.
Yeah. And so we were debating, which of those to use, or either, and looking at it. And the disadvantage of John's is that he's licensed to use that. So it would be hard to pass that off to other people. And I really think we ought to go back and take a look at the iTree, because I don't know if we need that totally sophisticated a program to do this. So I think it would be better to have might be better to have a program that we can duplicate and give to a lot of people.
The advantage over John's program was it does all the mapping for you.
Right.
Like instantaneously.
Yeah.
And so the iTree, I looked at iTree and I'm having a hard time finding that mapping protocol. It will do a census for you, but it's
Right.
different.
Yeah.
So, that's, when I found out about the mapping part, it just seemed like a no-brainer. But it's expensive.
Once we get started, we'll explore both objectives and see what's easier. And, it's really user-friendly once you get to know your forest.
Yeah, but how can other people use it? Suppose we had 10 people.
I'm going to be donating my equipment. It's not like they're going to be out there on a daily basis, 7 days a week.
Right.
They're going to go out once a month, check the schedule, I'll donate the equipment, get them started, and then they can save it and send it back to file with me, and then give me back my equipment, and next time they go out, use it again. Simple.
It's going to be up to you guys.
At that point, it's a manpower issue.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we're willing to do it, and we need to do it. And
Okay.
And I just had one last other question. Are you familiar with the Willows Preserve Park group putting together an arboretum in the Willows, and they have a particular person who has gone out and identified all the trees, and they are going for arbor status. I just wanted to know if you knew about it, and if you didn't, it's a good thing to know. So, yeah.
Where does that stand?
I don't know. I'm not quite sure, but
I can give a little update. I met with them last week.
Okay.
They're in the midst of getting somebody to come over and inventory all the trees.
okay.
That is the first step, and then they are going to reach out to local contractors and ask for some donations for actually managing and maintaining these trees. And then they're going to do the next steps of the mapping and kiosks and all that good stuff.
Is that under the auspices of the Park Commission, or?
Um,
I mean, somebody's got to be coordinated, either Steve or our park staff, or, I mean, I.
Yes, I mean, they have been
Park-
talking to Steve and talking to Rice and stuff like that, so I assume that there is some sort of communication going back and correspondence with those groups.
Is that, that's under the parks, right?
I assume it is.
So I would assume, well, our parks rep is in here, we can ask her.
Is it being rented, the Willows, or who's using the Willows?
Oh, well, that's a whole nother story. Yeah. But anyways, that's a, yeah, it's going to, it's, they're hoping.
They're just gonna tag the trees and they're gonna
Yeah.
have open to the public to go around, and there's gonna be little tags. You can use your smartphone and go up and learn a little bit about the tree.
Yeah, it's helps them to become an arboretum, to have arboretum status, to get funding for other sources for the whole project.
It's gonna be a 501c program, and it's, gonna bring other avenues to the park there.
Yeah.
In terms of,
So take a look at your list of what I gave you, and I think the biggest thing is Arbor Day and also our tree giveaway, and John's tour that he's going to be giving for tree identification. So
Well, I love the tree giveaway. I think everybody needs to know about it. And if somebody's
it will go
watching right now,
online, and
like-
it goes out
Yeah.
to all the conservancies database. It also goes out through the township, and it gets on to the township's website. So, and
Yeah,
it
we
is a
have-
first come, first serve.
We have a tree giveaway and a tree planting. Tree giveaway in the spring, tree planting in the fall. Now, is Kimberly going to do it again this year? Do you know?
Which
Kimberly
one?
Donchis?
Yes, which one? She's doing actually
She
both.
does the planting.
She does
Yeah,
both.
yeah.
So she does the planting with the township,
Right.
and that was done last fall. We did 60 trees. They were planted by Bryn Mawr Landscaping. All of those residents that have trees on their streetway will be this spring re-notified to make sure that they take care of their trees and water their trees throughout the summer. And then we will go through the process again for next fall.
Do you apply as a homeowner to get this?
You do.
Yeah.
It's
You-
$30.
$30?
Yep.
Okay. And the process, how do we get an application, just in case?
A notification goes out in the early fall, and people who, like in our neighborhood, and our ward commissioner put out information about it. The Conservancy also puts information out. So that information got out via that, and then they contact the township or come to the township, and they actually pay a $30 to $35 fee just to have some skin in the game and make sure that they water and everything like that. So it's a great deal. It's really wonderful.
Yeah,
So,
the procedure's not set in stone. It can be changed every year. We usually discuss how we're going to do the, we're usually involved with, we have been, we were last year, but the township pays for the trees, right?
well, it's a combination of, no, it's Chanticleer gives the
Right.
Conservancy a donation every year, which we then we pay for through the town to, pay
Right.
for the Conservancy purchases. We figure out what the species with John, and it's a whole process. And the timing of it, the reason why we do it in the fall is because it's a better planning period to do. And they're a little larger than our giveaway trees. So,
Is there a chance Kimberly can come and give us a little presentation on how it went last year? Give us some information on that, what happened?
you could ask her,
Yeah,
yeah,
okay.
yeah,
I don't have her information. Can you send me her information?
yeah.
Thanks. And I'll ask her to come and, so we're a little bit better coordinated with this. But I thought we gave from the Shade Tree Fund some of the money for that. I was pretty sure we
Well,
did.
honestly, I'm not quite sure.
Yeah.
So there might be.
I actually
Yeah.
thought we gave it all from the Shade Tree Fund.
Well, that's the way it usually
Yeah.
is. I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure we do. I'm pretty sure we fund that. But Kimberly does it, runs it, and it helps us out with that, administrating it.
So, and then this year's giveaway, we have 25 Allegheny Birch, we have 25 American Yellow Wood, we have 25 Sugar Maple, we have 30 Black Gum, we have 25 Swamp Oak, 25 Burl Oak, or Bur Oak, and 25 Bald Cypress. So a nice variety this year, which is really exciting. So, anyway, thank you for your time, and I'm glad to see new faces here, and there's a lot to be done. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Any other discussion? So for those of you that are new, we used to just go over these plans, and as you can tell, we're more and more becoming an active commission in terms of, protecting and growing our shade tree canopy here. So roll up your sleeves, big year coming up. Okay? All right. With that, the meeting's adjourned. Thank you.